Strength. It's a word that's thrown around a lot in life. One can have a strong body, a strong mind, and a strong will. You can even be strong with the Force. Many of the gods that we've worshipped throughout history exuded strength in some way, especially physical strength. From Zeus to Superman, physical strength has always been a source of awe and inspiration. But what exactly is physical strength? How do we define it? And why is it important in our lives?
Hey everyone, this is your host Justin and your co-host Jarvis.
Hello, I'm Jarvis.
Today, we're going to talk all about strength. Physical strength is defined as the ability to produce muscular force against external resistance.
Simply put, it is the ability to move heavy shit.
Strength is measured without regard to the amount of time it takes.
So it doesn't matter if it takes 2 seconds or 10 seconds to move your heavy shit.
That's right, but if you were to throw in the element of speed, then it would no longer be strength, but rather power, which is the ability to exert force rapidly.
Or in layman's terms, the ability to display strength quickly.
In order to explain the concept of strength, we're going to have to start with the muscles.
Well, duh.
Your muscles are an organized mass of thousands of individual muscle fibers. When you use your muscles to exert force, it is your muscle fibers that are contracting.
Yes, there are 2 ways to get stronger. The first is to increase the size of your muscles, and the second is to train your muscles to contract harder.
Size and strength have an interesting symbiotic relationship. Having bigger muscles does mean that you have bigger muscle fibers to work with, so you do tend to see some strength gains with extra size. However, the very act of strength training itself increases the size and quality of the muscle fibers, which in turn increases their potential for contraction and therefore strength.
Wait, so you're saying that size increases strength and strength increases size?
Yes, that is literally true, but there's more to that. It's possible to focus on gaining primarily strength or primarily size. Gaining a significant amount of size is not always viable for some people. This is usually people who compete in sports with weight class limitations such as mixed martial arts or lightweight rowing. Genetics are a factor as well. Some people just put on muscle more easily than others. When people train mostly to gain size, they typically perform exercises with lighter weights and higher reps. This causes the muscle cell volume to increase and essentially swell from the metabolic stress. However, the size gained here is mostly fluid content, so there's not a lot of strength increase with this kind of training.
Ah yes, this is where the bro term swole comes from.
That's true. Which leads us into the second and primary method of increasing strength, training your muscles to contract harder.
We know that your muscles are made of muscle fibers. Groups of muscle fibers are controlled by motor neurons. As you progress with strength training, your brain is essentially learning how to turn on more of these motor neurons so they can contract the muscle fibers they control. More motor neurons activated means more groups of muscle fibers contracted. Therefore, the harder your muscle contracts overall, the more force is being produced. As with all skills, this improves with practice.
Unfortunately, lighter weights don't stress the nervous system enough to incentivize activating more motor neurons. Therefore, fewer muscle fibers contract and less force is produced.
And as Master Yoda would say,
without force production, there is no strength. Therefore, in order for your nervous system to tell your muscles to contract harder, you need to lift heavier weights for fewer reps. This is a better method of training by far to increase strength, as it's essentially focusing on quality over quantity.
You'll sometimes see smaller people lifting significantly more weight than larger people. I mean, sometimes it's just messed up. Like, holy this isn't even fair. So don't let some drunken bro or some basic airhead tell you that you look too small and need to get bigger. If you're actually happy with your size, they probably have a Napoleon complex, or perhaps they're overcompensating for something else that's really small.
You just had to go there.
At this point, you might be wondering, why the heck is this strength thing so damn important? What if I just want to look good, get laid more, and make monstrous babies? Well, you could just train purely for size and aesthetics, but when push comes to shove and you need to actually move some couches or do some other useful things, wouldn't it be nice to be able to back up those large kissable muscles with real practical strength?
True that. Besides, if you spend time in the gym, you might as well use it effectively. Strength is one of the fundamental aspects of athleticism. You need to have strength before you can have power because, like we mentioned earlier, power is the ability to display strength quickly.
Like a punch. You're not going to punch hard if you're weak. I mean, what are you going to punch with? The flab on your arm?
Right.
Likewise, you need to have strength before you can have strength endurance. Because without strength, what exactly are you going to endure? In fact, every movement that you do requires strength. Even if it's just getting off the couch, going to the fridge, getting some food and plopping right back down. It's a hell of a lot easier to do when you're stronger.
You can also think of strength as a fishbowl, and everything else athletic are the fish inside. Increasing your strength is like increasing the size of the fishbowl. With a bigger bowl, you can store bigger fish or more fish. With more strength, you can accomplish bigger athletic feats and have smaller ones be and feel much easier. Of course, as with all things, there are diminishing returns. Do you really need to be able to deadlift 1,000 pounds? Chances are, no you don't. But would your life improve immensely with the addition of some strength training? Absolutely.
So, go get started.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Next week we'll be going over how to train for strength in greater detail. So if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe by clicking the red button below. Alright, later.